Hello, my friends, my community. Let me say welcome again to another conversation with one of our leading community members, Dr. Trevor Dixon. Now, Dr. Dixon has been on this program before, and the last time we spoke about the JAHJAH Foundation and its investment in our community, both local and in Jamaica. I have received quite a few commendation for exposing on this platform the work that he has been doing with his committee. And I'm pleased to announce at this stage that Dr. Dixon is back, long overdue, waiting for him to find the time so he can come and not only bring us up to date with what has taken place on his last visit to Jamaica, but at the same time, reaffirm with us that we need to be involved with our community. But Dr. Dixon, let me say, thank you so much for what you have been doing. Thank you so much for coming back to our platform to update our followers, our viewers, and your followers on what has transpired since the last time that you spoke to them. And let me preempt you by saying that congratulations on being recognized by the Government of Jamaica for the contribution of your foundation, as well as your individual sacrifice and investment. So congratulations on receiving the Order of Distinction from the Government of Jamaica.
Well, Mr. Trevor Smith, Professor SosoBone, thank you so much for that acknowledgement. And as I always say, God's grace,
Yes.
So on behalf of our volunteers, obviously our sponsors and all of our supporters, this is for them.
Yes.
This is for me. It is certainly for them because no man is an island.
That's right.
No man stands alone. So if it wasn't for them, I could only move a pebble. But because of their support, we're on task to be moving mountains in Jamaica.
Yeah. And that was pretty clear, in our last conversation, the importance that was attached to the committee. Okay. Our last conversation was never about you. It was about this nucleus that that had been attracted you. I guess I just regard you at that point like a magnet. Okay.
A vessel.
A vessel. So all being said and done, how has things been with the JAHJAH Foundation?
Yeah, well, first, I want to commend you for the work you've been doing in the community. I met you many years ago, as you know.
Yes.
I've always admired you, but for me, you were such a large man in our community that I didn't want to be one of those people who were rushing you. As you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I understand.
Hey, Mr. Smith, can you do this? Mr. Smith, can you do that? So I stood and waited, waited my turn, so to speak to Your Excellency, Mr.
It's strange you should say that because I always regarded myself as a very small man in our community because I had so many persons around me that I looked up to.
Right.
The Roy Aztecs, among other people, that the Carl Rodneys, the Faye Rodneys, the Paulette Willoughbys, the Sadie Campbells, people I saw around me who are dedicated, their life to one singular task in our community.
Yes.
Unpaid, okay? Sometimes unappreciated, okay? So yes, I was I was pleased to be able to be, in the company, of such persons. So
Yeah.
having you say such as much is more than I will say expected.
Well, you have to speak the truth, Grandma says, speak the truth and not speak it ever. And cause it what is real,
Good.
So that be you mentioned Roy, like when I came into this sphere, into this
Mhm.
this environment, I had people that I looked up to, and Dr. Roy Street from OID,
Uh-huh.
Claudia Powell,
Mhm.
these people have been advocating for healthcare for years, even before I even went to medical school.
Yes.
So when I see I have been blessed to have the Order of Distinction from Jamaica, and I see that these individuals have not achieved it, it's a bittersweet for me, although I'm grateful for the acknowledgement. I keep it humble to realize that there are those who came before me, Dr. Street in particular,
Mhm.
who and Dr. and Claudia Powell, who have done so much for healthcare in Jamaica, and they're
Mhm.
still waiting for their so-called, accolades, So I take this, I'm grateful to the government of Jamaica for recognizing us as an organization who believes in trying to do our part to uplift Jamaica in a genuine way. We're not looking for any kind of kickbacks. We're not looking to put lawnmower in a container for saying go Jamaica. We're not looking to send our household goods to Jamaica. But we
Right.
want to recognize us as a genuine, authentic organization that wants the best for Jamaica and to eliminate the red tape that still exists
Uh-huh.
both from the diaspora are trying to do good in Jamaica. And I
Yes.
say this to say that there are other countries that when we as Jamaicans here in the diaspora try to send goods to Jamaica, we have to end up sending it to other countries who
Yes.
welcome it with open arms, and we're done. So the stress is off our back. It's hard for us to want to donate to the diaspora and have to jump through hoops sometimes. That being said, and we are told they're clearing the path and they're making it easier. But because of the level of corruption in Jamaica, it's
Uh-huh.
not easier for us here in the diaspora. And I tell you, many of the corruption that they're fighting exists within. It's not coming from out of the diaspora. It exists
Right.
within the system. So we have to bear the blunt of it. And I'm grateful for the recognition of the government of Jamaica for the work that the folks, the volunteers, and all our supporters have done to the point where we're recognized. But we have so much work to do. And this is just a letter to say, continue to work, and we will give you a little bit more of a understanding when it comes to who is JAHJAH Foundation.
I like to say, having mentioned and referred to your volunteers, I would like to know, simply one by one, the members of your inner circle. I want them to be mentioned and archived in the history of this program.
It'd be impossible for me. So I will start with my journey, okay? Because you put me on spot now, you leave with a name now. People stop answering my phone. I don't know why. You understand? Because we're very tribal in Jamaica. We're very much So this journey started, I guess, when I grew up in Christian and Manchester. I'm a country boy from a district in Manchester called Christian. It's mainly an agricultural district.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother was a banana producer.
Mhm.
When they had small time banana producers, before the Doles and the Ecuador and those other Chiquita took over the market based on Bill Clinton's globalization and all that other stuff,
I
right?
grew up in a banana parish, Portland, so I'm with you there.
But my grandmother was a small producer, and I learned from a very early age that despite the fact that she was a banana producer, she was ingenious enough to learn how to use that to
Mhm.
feed her community.
Okay.
What she used to do in banana season is around, and I remember very clearly being in front of my house, and the kids would pass to go to school,
Mhm.
and my grandmother would charge them 1 cent or 2 cent
One ripe banana.
for one banana and a ripe banana. And so, if you want to talk about the people, the pioneers who started the first early lunch program for going back to school, lunch program in the morning, you probably have to mention my grandmother's name because she did it in such a subtle way. And she says, I remember she's telling us, 1 cent and 2 cent, but if they don't have any money, give it to them anyway.
Uh-huh. And,
Her,
and let me say this, there was nothing as nice as a bull and banana.
and you know, nutrition is so important for children going to school. If they're hungry, they can't learn.
No, right.
Can't learn because the stomach is fighting for the glucose and the brain is fighting for the glucose. And the
Yes.
stomach usually wins because the stomach gets it first.
Oh, yes.
So my grandmother, I guess, left the first imprint of how to give back to the community. She was a pillar in her community. She was the person who people came to for advice for doing the right ethical things. So I think that was instilled in me at a very young age. So, you know, I went
Yeah.
to the Zion Moravian Church in Christiana, and a lot of stars have come out of Christiana, and that church was a pillar in the community into educating our children, not just in education, but moral values in life. So I left Christiana Manchester, and I came to the United States. I lived in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. My parents were immigrant parents who came here to make a better life for us. Of course, you know, we were barrel kids back home,
Oh, yes.
um, so that allowed me never to forget those who are behind, are not really behind, those folks who are still in Jamaica. I always reflect and say to myself, that could have been me. I've
Yes.
never forgotten the concept of that could have been me, because when I was 7 years old, 8 years old in Jamaica, I used to go to the dentist in Spalding's, a hospital called Percy Junior Hospital in Spalding's, Clarendon. And that dentist used to see the first 10 or 15 people for free. Okay. And let me tell you, while it was free, that dentist was not patient with the Novocaine or whatever it is.
Oh, my.
And a child, 8 years old, you hear people ahead of you screaming. And I understood the importance of giving back because I was able to go to the dentist for free. Okay.
Yes.
I came from a humble background, right? So coming to the United States, I never forgot those things.
Yes.
I lived in Brooklyn, East Flatbush, Brooklyn. I don't have to tell you how much of a war zone East Flatbush, Brooklyn can be for a young man from age 10 to 18 growing up in Brooklyn. You know, talk about police brutality, talk about black on black crime, talk about poverty, talk about the crack epidemic that as you
Yeah.
know, plagued
Yeah.
East Flatbush and so many other communities.
Oh, yes.
So I was able to overcome all that. How? Only by the grace of God.
Yes.
And I know this because, you know, all of my friends growing up, if they're not dead, they're in prison. You
Yes.
understand me? And I'm not saying I didn't have my scrape and bruises growing up in that community.
But you survived.
Somehow God preserved me.
You survived.
He had a greater promise for me. And I remember going through school, people used to say, you know, you're a bright kid, you know, you're a bright kid. And I never paid that no mind. There's a woman in Christian in Manchester when I was 6, 7 years old, underneath my grandmother, fracture. Say to me, you're going to be the next prime minister of Jamaica. You know, and I said, you know, I never forget those people who said those things. But, you know, it's just funny how God speaks through people of
Yes.
what your journey will be, and you don't understand. Because these were God-fearing people, so they knew what we were talking. So as I said, I came to East Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I was able to, didn't know I wanted to be a doctor. Had no desire to be a doctor. But I did my associate in chemistry degree in chemistry. And I immediately got a job with Canada's in the utility company in New York there. And after working there for 1 year, I couldn't see myself doing that the rest of my life because I didn't see.
Ah,
I wanted more, you know? And of course, having West Indian parents, you tell them you're leaving Canada, them think you like you're mad.
you're mad because it's a pension job that.
Yeah, that's a pension union job. You retire a job. And my father, bless his soul, he had all of his friends call me to convince me to stay. And I said, I'm not staying. I'm going to go. And I went to SUNY Downstate in Brooklyn on Clarkson Avenue. And I went to SUNY Downstate and I did my bachelor's now in medical imaging ultrasound. No desire to be a doctor. I just knew I didn't want to work in the cold because Canada requires you working in the field, the cold, and I couldn't do the cold. I'm a Jamaican boy from Christiana.
No, 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 that couldn't cut it.
As soon as I reached part of the degree, my hand them starting numb up and my ears them turn red, you know? So working in the hospital, my mother was a nurse. My sisters were nurses. I come from a healthcare background. So I did the ultrasound, and who would think that ultrasound would have me having such a large impact in Jamaica? I graduated with my bachelor's in ultrasound, and all the teachers at Downstate, SUNY Downstate would say, You have to go to medical school. This little kid from East Flatbush, Brooklyn, said, "Then people are mad. Me look like doctor, because there's a certain perception of people of what a doctor should look like." And
Well, yes, and the thing is that you coming out of Jamaica, once you are regarded as a brilliant student, they start telling you where you're going to end up.
right,
Doctor, lawyer, politician.
yes, yes.
Yes. So that carried over where in our community, our brilliant students that they regard as having the potential and the mindset and the mind power, oh, you have to end up in certain places.
But I will tell you that even going through school, I wasn't a child voted most likely to succeed. I will tell you, I was never that child, because what the problem was, I was skipped. I got skipped when I came to America. They had me do some reading and some math tests. And instead of putting me in the fourth grade, they put me in the fifth grade.
Okay.
So that had its pluses and its minuses. One of the minuses with that is that sometimes you're not socially ready to deal with children who are older than you.
Yes.
So I always behaved more immaturely. I was always joking, laughing, running around like a kid is supposed to.
Well, that was your mask.
Right, right, right. So I was never a child that was voted most likely to succeed. There were many kids who were ahead of me. However, I say that to say that sometimes the youth, you should not give up on the youth, because you don't know when they're going to blossom, so to speak.
Yeah, but the fact that they sprang you forward, not backwards,
Right,
okay, was an indication of their
right,
of their faith in you.
right. Absolutely. I'm looking back now, I can understand that, but then I didn't understand.
You got promoted, okay?
I was promoted. Yeah, I was what they call skipped. I was skipped.
Yes.
Yes. So, going to school, I was still very immature because I was always one grade ahead of everybody else. And, even going through college, the professors would say, Trevor, you're a brilliant guy. You're a brilliant guy. But as a child, you're who you are. You don't see yourself as brilliant, so to speak. You see yourself as who you are. It's just like when people say they grew up poor. How many of us knew that we grew up poor?
Oh, no. My sister, when I came to United, she said, we never knew we were poor until we came to United States.
Right. If somebody tell me that they grew up poor, I dismiss that as one, and they're very suspect to me, because
Yes.
we as poor children, I'm not saying I was poor, the poorest. We who come from humble backgrounds don't even know that we don't have, because God teach you, work where you have, satisfy you have.
We're in a balanced environment.
That's right.
Okay. Yes.
All of us, for the most part, have the same thing.
Yes.
Right? People are foreign. I'm getting them barrel come to Jamaica, and that's about it. Yeah, and we share. We learn to
And we share.
Yeah, everything.
And when it's mango time, everybody eat mango.
Everybody eat mango. So yeah, I came to East Flatbush, and eventually I went to medical school, and as soon as I graduated from medical school, I decided I want to give back to my community. And I did what I know best. I called people in Jamaica who I knew. I didn't really go to the diaspora here because I wasn't connected to the diaspora. But I knew they kept on saying this name, Roy Street. But Roy Street, Dr. Roy Street was a dentist. And I didn't feel I would connect that much with a dentist. I wanted to do things more on a medical point of view.
Right.
I studied emergency medicine. However, I was wise enough to speak with Dr. Roy Street, and he was very kind to me, explained to me how I can be impactful in the diaspora. He saw a role for me to play within the diaspora. And I went to the Jamaica Council at that time. It was the other Council General. I think the other party was in power. And I forgot his name. I'd done the Council General at the time, in New York. And he had a meeting there, and all the diaspora leaders, as you know them, JAHJAH and
was that Pastor Brian?
No, after that one, Lamont.
Herman Lamont.
Yes, that's when I came in.
Lamont, yes.
I came in with Lamont, right? And I met all the players, as you know, the Jamaica Progressive League. Erwin Clear was there, Claudia Powell was there, Leslie Ann Samuel was there, Carly Doggy was
Paulette Willoughby.
All of them were there, So this was a new sphere for me. And I come into this meeting now, no, nobody. This is the first meeting.
Patrick Jolly, Vinyo Sang.
Right, right. And I'm listening to these guys in this meeting talking about how they can help the diaspora. And I'm listening to these ideas. And the advantage that I had at that point, I was already doing some work in Jamaica on a small scale, in the sense that I would send back a microscope to Jamaica, to the local hospital. I would send back little things.
Uh-huh.
And I had a contact in Jamaica, Dr. Sonia Copeland. She had worked for the Ministry of Health.
Uh-huh.
And she was the one who helped for me to navigate and be impactful. So she said to me, you know what? You do emergency medicine. I think you should meet Dr. Hugh Wong.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Hugh Wong at the Kingston Public Hospital. But at that time, I still didn't meet him.
Okay.
So, one day I was staying in Kingston on vacation, and I met one of my wife's schoolmates' husband. Says, "You want to make an impact in Jamaica?" I said, yeah. Lyndon Williams. He says, "Okay, I'll drive you on to KPH." And the wife looked at him and said, "What?
KPH.
You're gonna drive him to where?"
Slaughterhouse.
And the man said, "I'm taking to KPH." What's the big deal? Remember, Lyndon Williams, Lyndon Williams is a Chinese man, okay? And the Chinese, they're one of the bravest people outside of Black people that in
Yes,
Jamaica.
yes.
Yeah.
They learn to survive.
You learn to survive, right? So he drove me down to KPH, and as I say, the rest is history.
Mhm.
I just graduated from training in emergency medicine, and I walked into the emergency room at KPH. And sometimes the security guards, if they see that you're a foreigner, they're not so restrained. They understand.
Mhm.
And they called Dr. Wong. Dr. Wong came out, and I went inside there and introduced myself to Dr. Wong. And we spoke, and we just sat down and talked about what is the need? What do the doctors need here? Because I'm a doctor, right?
Mhm.
How can I help Jamaica? How can I help to make? And I said, I can't promise you anything big because I'm not a big doctor like that.
Mhm.
Just want to see the little things that make a difference in your day-to-day program. And boy, the rest is history. He told me exactly what they needed and
And they needed everything.
needed a lot. But you know what they say? The best thing you can give a man is teach him how to fish.
Teach him how to fish.
And as I was leaving, Dr. Wong looked at my card and saw it says ultrasound education.
Mhm.
So in addition to me being a physician, I specialize in ultrasound.
Uh-huh.
And he says, "Wait, man, come back here, come back here."
Mhm.
I said, "What's the story?" He says, "You do ultrasound?"
Mhm.
I said, "Yes, I do ultrasound." I said, "Boy, you're not gonna believe this. But a year ago, because of World Cup cricket, we got 8 ultrasound machines throughout the island. And if you can come and give these guys some training in this ultrasound, this would be great."
Aye.
World Cup cricket.
Yes.
If only God could have made that happen. I
Yes.
graduated 2006, 2007. I go there to peruse the hospital, and I found a need that Jamaica's public hospital needed so much. And I can tell you about that. That was almost 18 years ago.
Prophetic.
God again, God.
Prophetic. As I said, when you look around, they needed everything, but you never know what the everything was.
Right. And I say this to say that one of the advantages that JAHJAH Foundation have in the diaspora, one of the advantages that we have is that we have close contacts with the people who are genuine, what
Yes.
we call local champions.
Yes.
Because, a lot of projects fail are not sustainable because of the people who we hook up with, the culprits, right?
Well, the foundation is so important. It's like any building. If the foundation is strong, you can go as high as you want on that building. You can start with one level, but as time goes along, you can build on it. And
Right.
without it being I refer to it. I don't have to make any excuse about what I say. It is this type of foundation that has resulted in you getting an order of distinction, because this is another pillar on that, because you're not going to stop at that. As a matter of fact, when you're just starting now.
Right. Exactly. And that's why I tell you that this only gives me permission
Yes.
to go into the circle and say and voice my opinion, and hopefully,
Yes.
they can say, you know what? Yeah, man, JAHJAH, I'm at the Rasta man, make him go on because it
Yes.
was them thing, right? But you ask me the people, I have to, that's why I start from the beginning.
Oh, yes, definitely.
William Williams drove me down there. Had he told me, no man, you can't go down this is dangerous, maybe I would not have gone,
yes.
right? I could have went anyway, but it was God's intervention to say, Lyndon's gonna speak favorable of what you're doing, and he's gonna drive you down there.
Well, I have a couple of friends who will tell me the only reason that they would go down to KPH is if they're sick and they're in an ambulance.
Right, right. So you know
Okay.
what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yes.
So, for some of our listeners who don't know exactly what we're talking about, it's a very challenging communities, garrisons as they call them, that you have to cross through before you get down there. And if you get a flat tire down there, well, most people are friendly. You can meet some real bad characters, some bad players, although most people in these communities are very nice and caring people, you can meet some bad characters, right?
Well, you see, simultaneously, I need them to understand that even as the government has put the spotlight on you, they have to understand where you're coming from.
Right.
Because without a knowledge of where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going.
Right.
So in order for them to appreciate where you are now, they still have to have an understanding as to the journey that took you to this point.
Right.
Because some of them might be on a similar journey and they're giving up.
Right. Right.
Okay. Because they think that they are on the wrong track. They're wasting time because they would like to do so much. And sometimes their journey has to be a little bit slower than some people. Okay.
And you're right. We talk about the success of the JAHJAH Foundation, but we've had failures also, and we've learned from them. This conversation is not just about what we've done right. We've done some things wrong. And some of the main silver lining in the things that we've done wrong is that when we don't include the communities that we're trying to help,
yes,
we include them, then it's going to be a failure. And that's where we realize that local champions in the communities were the key to preserving what we have started. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And it's just like any political representative. If they're gonna help the community, they gotta walk into the community and listen to the community, not talk to the community, but listen to the community. What do you need? We need hospitals, we need schools, we need water, we need fire departments. And when you realize what they need, when you fulfill that need, then they will be all ready now for the next step.
Right. Sometimes, we feel like sometimes we're selling books and pencils and computers to Jamaica, but some communities are different. Sometimes they just need a breakfast program for the children.
Okay.
Different things for them nutritional needs for them to grow. So I'm just giving an example. Not that selling books and computers aren't important, but you mentioned that
you're identifying the things that our community sees out there, and in the process of identifying it, you're making them more proud of what they are doing.
Right.
Because some of them might not be willing to talk about what they're doing because they think it's not much.
Right.
Okay. They think it's really not nothing. I had a think tank that we used to meet regularly once per week to talk about, to analyze. And I had people from the Department of Education in Jamaica. And when they sat in with us, they said, Trevor, there's children in Jamaica. I am an inside person telling you this, who never went to school because they had no shoes.
Right.
No shoes.
Right.
I'm like, hold on. Some of them never went to school because they had no breakfast, and hungry people can't learn.
Right. And when you have to choose between bus fare and breakfast,
yes,
it's a tough choice. The average Jamaican and that means that there's a lot of people who don't make that. Make $16,000 a week, and that's a lot of money.
Yes.
And then have to work 7 days a week to make that.
Yes.
Not 5 days of 40 hours. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
People don't understand it. And you remember, so hotel work is seasonal. You understand me? Hotel work is seasonal. And we watch these hotels profit, and we watch the people who are working in these hotels disintegrate, so to speak. They can't get ahead because of the taxi fare is $500 one way if you go to them district. When they get off of the taxi off of the main road, they have to take a next taxi or bike
Yes.
up to their home.
Yes.
I have to get up the next morning. And you think Jamaicans are lazy? It's something they're just tired.
You know, I might say listen, when our people walk into this country, our reputation preceded us. Jamaicans, it's 5 jobs them have.
Right.
You don't talk about a set of people who walks into this country and you say they don't have 3 to 5 jobs. You don't call those people lazy.
So what makes people think that the folks in Jamaica who choose not to work are lazy?
Yeah.
It's just that the math doesn't make any sense. You can't be working
Yeah.
5 days a week, 6 days a week to go back to just pay for taxi fare and to go home, and you can't get ahead. If you get a toothache, it costs $4,000, $5,000. Where are you going to afford to pay for a tooth? So people suffer.
And the thing is this, Jamaicans know who they are because the first opportunity they get to let anybody know who does not believe in the Jamaican mentality, they tell them plain and straight, listen to me, we little, but
We Talawa.
we Talawa.
Yeah.
Yes. Without hesitation, they're going to let you know that we don't expect that anybody going to beat us in anything. I don't care what your size is.
Right. Yeah, so just to move along, because this conversation, you and I, we can talk for about 6-7 hours straight, right?
Of course.
But back to this, recognition that I've received from Jamaica's Order of Distinction. So many people sharing this journey. I've mentioned a few, but there's so many. Every project we have has a local champion.
Yes.
Unless we have a local champion, I don't do that. I don't do a project unless I have a local champion. And people say, why I'm feisty? You not care about we, you want to care about a certain area. If I don't have I'm from Christian in Manchester. And I have never done a project in Christian in Manchester because I haven't found a local champion in Christian in Manchester who will carry it to the finish line. I've been to other communities where I thought I would be successful. I thought I found a local champion, and it hadn't worked. It didn't work out because of geopolitics. You understand what I'm saying? So, and as you know, Jamaica can be very much politically divided. You can do a health fair, and the person who come along with Dr. Dixon, look outside, look out there. I said, yes. What you see? I said, people coming to the health fair. He said, look for the colors where them have.
Yes.
I'm keeping the health fair for the community. And
Yes.
because the person who's the local champion belongs to one political party,
that color turns up.
that color turns up. What kind of nonsense is that?
And that is because that color is taking position of your being there as his.
Yes, rite of passage, yeah.
As being an account of him.
Right. Well, so we won't. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, that's a whole other conversation.
I just say that to mention that when you're doing global health in Jamaica from the diaspora, you have to be mindful of what you're doing, because you can be labeled and you can be stigmatized as belonging to this group, and you have to really understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think we've been successful because we try to stay out of the politics as much as we can. You can avoid it sometimes, but be careful who you align yourself with, okay?
Oh,
and more importantly, you need God's guidance to tell you where to go. And
what you're really having is that's a message to the diaspora, because we have also imported, or we have migrated with that partisanship.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay. And I say that because there's so many of our people who have made significant contributions from the diaspora, and because of maybe labeling, they're never recognized.
Right.
We have a diaspora that sometimes looks at financial contribution as the hallmark of recognition. I can say that very clearly because I was part of an industry, okay, where we had Vinny, we had Lowell,
Mhm.
we have Patrick Jolly.
Right.
All three of them are major financial contributors to the Caribbean community and the Jamaican community.
Right.
All three of them received the Order of Distinction.
Right.
Okay. Now, not that they never deserved it, but being able to recognize volunteerism
Volunteerism, right.
and sacrifice, personal sacrifice, is far more, I would say, valuable and impactful than financial contributions. And I
Right.
say this because we're in an atmosphere right now where USAID that made so much financial contributions have been interrupted
Right.
at the stroke of a pen.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
We have no control over that.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
nobody can control what you're doing
But you know what?
but you.
It's important that you mention that, and I'm not knocking USAID or any of these other organizations, but Marcus Messiah Garvey
Mhm.
has always said, we have to help ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. Don't always look for people to help us because nobody has the vested interest that we have for ourselves. You have to have, and that's why when I found JAHJAH Foundation, even in the name alone,
Yes.
JAHJAH Foundation, people say, JAHJAH Foundation, you sure you want to use the name there? I said, why not? Because you're not going to get some sponsorship, which means people give you a sponsorship based on if they think that, you're going to fall in line.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? But
Yes.
our people have suffered for so long. I created this organization believing that we can help ourselves.
Yes.
And we can be the pride to say, yes, we have an organization that is for us, built by us.
Yes.
And we're going to go back to Jamaica and we're going to help our people. Guess why? Every other country does it.
That's right.
I'm not making no excuses
No excuses.
and no apology because
Yes.
guess
No
what?
excuses, no apology. That's
we don't
right.
take, if we don't take pride in ourselves, don't expect anybody to respect us.
Right.
You understand me? So I formed JAHJAH Foundation, Jamaicans Abroad Helping Jamaicans at Home. And I said, what does JAHJAH mean? I said, whatever it means to you, that's what JAHJAH means. Okay.
Yes.
That's the acronym.
Meditate on it.
Say something. I meet so many different people, and I said, JAHJAH. They said, JAHJAH. And in my mind, I think I know what they're going to say. It's a Rasta organization.
Yes.
And they're surprised. And they go, that's my initials, JAH. One person told me, say, that's my son's name, JAHJAH.
Uh-huh.
I met a white man at the airport in Kingston, and in Montego Bay was leaving. He says, JAHJAH. Wow. He said, that's my initials.
Aye.
You understand me? So you sometimes we perceive how people are viewing things. So you have to just go with it.
But our community, I'm saying we are evolving. Because as I
Yes.
feel, I like to analyze, not criticize, because the fact that you can look in Parliament and you see Rasta
Yeah.
versus the good old days where you couldn't even walk down the street with a Rasta man.
You have to wear a wig before you go to the court.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I agree. But sometimes, we still have to, as you know, we still have to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery.
Mental slavery.
Because many of us are still, we're caught up in this name brand clothes.
And I'm glad you brought Bob Marley and Marcus Garvey. No, they got Marcus Garvey, then Bob Marley, because Marcus only, emulated God.
Marley only preached what Garvey was saying.
What Garvey was saying. Some people think that Bob is the originator, but
No,
it's okay. The fact that they hear the message, that's what's important.
Right.
But yes, the recognition of Bob Marley has enhanced the image of the music industry.
Right.
So even though we might say that we look at him in a certain way, the old fraternity, the music industry was recognized.
Right.
Was recognized, and you recognize that in the spirit and the homage that we pay to Bob Marley.
Yeah.
I say this because Jesus Christ is recognized and Christianity is based on him.
Right.
So, but we don't say that there are not other disciples, but we talk about Jesus Christ. So
Right.
I am saying this because the JAHJAH Foundation, not Dr. Trevor Dixon, you're just a product of the JAHJAH Foundation.
Right.
Okay? And it is okay for us to recognize somebody who is leading a charge like Jesus Christ led Christianity, Marcus Garvey led the Garvey movement, King led the civil rights movement, Sojourner Truth led the underground movement. We have to be able to identify specific individuals, okay? Because if we don't, then it filters out and it gets lost in the shuffle, okay? It gets lost like you can put a iceberg in the ocean and it stays there for days, threatening ships. And when you come back 2 months afterward, you can't find the iceberg.
Right.
Okay? So no, I am looking at the JAHJAH Foundation as being, say, lit like a candle.
Right.
Because there are other people now who will feel comforted. That's
Right.
how they notice what we're doing.
Right.
Or they appreciate what we're doing.
Right.
Okay?
Right. And you strike a very important point, you know. And I say this because I know there's so much work still to be done. This order of distinction is for the supporters of JAHJAH
Of
Foundation.
course. I know you're being modest, you know. That is why I'm carrying the torch.
You know,
You know?
they backed the right horse.
Yes, yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They went to the track and then backed the winning horse, right?
Yes.
I'm just saying that I just encourage them to continue as we try to make a change in Jamaica. We could do so much more if we just trust each other. Because when I came into this sphere, you know, you know, I'm doing charity work. People say charity work.
Mm.
One of them.
Yes.
They raise money. Nobody can see where the money go,
Oh, yes.
and they can't ask anything. But thank you because I have a guy by the name of um Garvin Gray.
Mm.
Okay, and he calls himself the media strategist.
Uh-huh.
It means he is to make sure that the work that we do is impactful. Because, he came from other organization,
Uh-huh.
and he said to me, Dr. Dixon, I'm going to join your team. Okay, but there's only two conditions I'm going to give you. Two conditions, because this is perfect SosoBone, I'll give you SosoBone,
Yes.
Two conditions I'm going to support you. Don't rob up the people their money,
Mhm.
and don't sleep with the volunteers.
Yes.
That's what he told me. As long as you do that, I
You're
will
good.
make you flourish. Understand
You're
me?
good.
That wasn't hard for me.
Yes.
Understand me? Because I'm a physician, I've done well,
Uh-huh.
and I have a beautiful wife.
Yes.
I don't look at women. I'm not here to say that I don't see women looking attractive and everything, but I know where to draw the boundaries. You understand?
Yes.
Right. So he came on board and he was able to show the work of the JAHJAH Foundation.
Right.
And he continues to show the work of the JAHJAH Foundation for free. For free. You go on YouTube right now, and I encourage your listeners to go onto YouTube and type in JAHJAH Foundation, JAHJAH Foundation.org on YouTube. And I guarantee you see 150 videos. You will see some of us at our gala.
Uh-huh.
More importantly, you will see JAHJAH at work.
Yes.
You will see us in Jamaica, the amount of projects that we've done. We've built in Chickenganya, we've built a health facility at the Hanbury home in Manchester. We've done so much work. We started an EMS system for Westmoreland that's centered in Negril. For
Uh-huh.
Westmoreland that's centered in Negril. Okay? And Westmoreland incorporates Sheffield, Little London, Mango Hall, Savlamar,
Mhm.
so much Grange Hill, so much more places. But I'm just saying, we're based in Negril because we know how the thing set. Right?
Mhm.
Right? So we've done so many more projects. We did an ultrasound project. We've done. I can't. You said, what has the JAHJAH Foundation done, Dr. Dixon? I said, why? You have to go on YouTube because I'm going to forget a lot of projects that we've done successfully. And the reason why we're able to do it is because of the volunteers. And we have all kind of volunteers. We have volunteers that go to Jamaica. We have volunteers who sell tickets to our events or fundraisers,
Uh-huh.
right? And remember, when you come to our fundraiser, now, you may feel like we're just here to have fun, but we party with a purpose. And remember, the people now come to your fundraiser and they feel like them are going to have a good time. Then a business what the organization about. Some people just want, and that, we have to learn that in charity, that not everybody who comes to your event cares about you, what you're doing.
No,
To find a
no.
way to attract them for them to come and support you. You understand?
You know, I did an interview with Dr. Smith from the Atlanta Montego Bay City Cities
Right.
4 days ago. I haven't even published it as yet.
Yeah.
That is, and you know, we asked, I said, yes, she's familiar with the JAHJAH Foundation. Montego Bay Cities have been Atlanta, Montego Bay have a city-to-city relationship going way back.
Yeah, I've heard of that organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, and they do missions down there. And I've been involved with them go way back 20 years.
Right.
Okay. Now, and we spoke about, we talk about the JAHJAH, and yes, we talk about the same type of issues. I say you're known by your work. You are known by your deeds. It is okay for some people to be question about the money. You say, listen, when Jesus had his 12 disciples, there was doubting Thomas.
Right.
So don't be annoyed or be upset when you have a doubting Thomas, because the example was there laid out for you that even Jesus Christ, when he finished choosing the 12, he never made a mistake. He just made sure he had an example there. So you know that in your journey, you're going to come across the doubting Thomas until you can stick the hand in your side and feel where the spear went in.
Right.
Until you can see where every dollar was put, they're going to have doubts. And that is a part of the makeup of our community.
That's right. That's right.
Well, so I am not criticizing the doubting Thomases, because Jesus says you're going to have a couple doubting Thomas. Okay?
Let me tell you something, just to get us back on track a little bit, it's one project that I hope we can do in Jamaica, if nowhere else, and that's at the Savlamar Hospital, Savlamar Public General Hospital, right? Because you may have seen some of the videos that come out of Savlamar Hospital. You may or may not have seen it.
Oh, yes.
Right? And pictures don't lie.
What do you need?
Pictures don't lie,
And I asked that because I need them to hear.
Yeah.
I need them on the outside to hear, so they cannot say they never knew what you need, okay?
I needed the decision makers who are responsible for what can happen and what cannot happen in Savlamar Hospital to work with the community, put politics aside, and work with the Savlamar Rotary and the Savlamar Chamber of Commerce. And I'm saying to work with JAHJAH Foundation, work with these community leaders in there and try and make that hospital, because you can't stay in Kingston and know how important that hospital is for somebody in Savlamar.
Right.
So I say work with the local chapters there, the Rotary Club. I can speak about Mr. Arnold and the incoming president, Dr. Powell. Work with the Savlamar Rotary, work with the Savlamar Chamber of Commerce, work with the chairman, the board of the Savlamar Hospital, work so we can expand that hospital so people don't have to be sitting in the hospital on chairs. Trevor, we in America know what you do when you don't have space. Either you go up or you go out. We need more space, right?
Yes.
We know, so we're innovative in how we can think. We need innovative leaders in Jamaica to understand that you don't have to build a whole new hospital.
That's right.
Innovate what you have and create more space, especially in the emergency room. We know that everybody who goes in the emergency room is not going to be admitted. Some are going to go home. But the ones who are there, since they're not going to admit them upstairs, and because there's no space upstairs, expand the emergency room so they can accommodate more. That's what we need to do. And I mean, I live in America, New York, Brooklyn, where so you do renovation, you're not getting more space.
Right. You go up or down.
Or you better go in there and renovate.
Right.
That hospital needs to be renovated. And if it's one thing I do before I die, I'd like to be involved in a project that expand that hospital so people can come in there and preserve their dignity.
And I'm glad that you're able to, as I said, identify the need, because I've said it before when I had Anne-Marie Grant, when we spoke about the UWI and their contribution and our representation. I have said I've reached out to some of our student associations, which are well established across our platform. And I said, when you have an event, please do not invite any politician to come as a speaker at your event. If you want to know how you can help your people, invite the people from the administrator for the hospitals. Invite the administrators for the clinics. Okay, the people who are dealing with the day-to-day decisions that they have to make to service our community. Yeah. Because while I respect what politicians are supposed to do, when they come, they expect to come and speak to you. And when you come to a town hall meeting, they are supposed to come and listen to you. Because when you tell them what you want, if they think they can do it and they say, make a commitment, when they come back the next time, they're going to say to you, what you asked me to do the first time, I have done it, so I want you to support me again and tell me what you want, I will go and do it. So I want it to be very clear what we need at the hospital down there, because they are going to see this video. I will guarantee this, that I know that it's going to be landing in Mark Golden's box, because he's in our chat group. J.L. Patterson, Julian Robinson. There's a lot of them that we are connected to in our communication. They see what happens on SosoBone. They see the interviews we do. Okay. And this might be the only way we can speak to them without thinking that we are politically looking to make a political connection. The diaspora has to speak louder. Okay. We have to make our interest in their performance very visible. Okay, not from a political point of view, but from the benefit of the people point of view. That is why I said, tell us what you see, tell us what you want.
I mean, these are our hospitals.
Yes.
Even in the diaspora, these are our hospitals. We get in Jamaica, we get injured. We have to be going to those hospitals. We can't be running to UWI all the time. I think you could run to UWI or wherever these private clinics are all the time. These are our hospitals. Let's make them, let's improve them. We can do it. One hospital at a time. I said let's start with South Lamar Hospital. Let's extend that base, and there's been plans proposed before. So this is not something that I'm creating. They're there, but they're sitting there because of geopolitics, what I call geopolitics. We don't know what geo mean, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Local politics prevents them from advancing.
Yes.
So we need the local stakeholders and the Rotary, because Rotary is a very well-known, trusted name in the community, and the Chamber of Commerce, those businessmen in those communities who should have a vested interest for their employees to go in case they need health care.
Yes, I was a member of Kingston JCs before I came to America. Yeah. And it was all about community, about training us for leadership and volunteerism in our community. I was trained by the Canadian Red Cross to be a first aid instructor when I was still in my teens.
Right.
Okay, so that foundation is there between the JCs, the Rotary, the Kiwanis, and the other unmentioned organizations. Okay?
Lions Club, yeah, we know all those guys, yeah.
And I would love to see, when we're having our Independence Ball up here, you're bringing up the president of the Kiwanis Club. You're bringing up the president of the Rotary in your parish or in your region, because they know what they have been doing. They know who they have been working with. They know what the needs they have identified where they are volunteering their time.
Right.
And that will give our associations up here a better place to focus and to send help to the community.
Right. Like I said, these are our local champions who know the ins and outs of these communities. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, and you know, I am glad that, you know, as Diane McIntyre Pike says, you know, she's in charge of country style tourism in Jamaica, the whole organization of the Airbnb and the cottages by the sea and the small hotels. She said, Trevor, I just love the name SosoBone, you know, SosoBone. Because when it comes to the all-in-one hotel, they get everything. a SosoBone we get.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
having said that, Dr. Trevor Dixon, let me say that you have now shown exactly why you qualified to receive an order of distinction from the government of Jamaica. Not only for what you have done, but what you see needs to be done and what you champion that has to be done. Okay? So, on behalf of our viewers, or listeners, or supporters, on behalf of the New York Carib News or media partner, MK Design or website administrator, Moringa Young or e-commerce managers, on behalf of John Sports Corner, Winner's Circle, Groovin Radio, Reggae Vonage out of Connecticut, Reggae Storm out of Berlin, and Money Train Radio, I say thank you for spending this exciting hour with us. And you're not going to be, you know, this is not your last time here. Remember that.
Well,
Open platform to keep us up to date and to inform our people and to guide our people. Because as much as we might think that they do not recognize the organization, they're going to brag about JAHJAH Foundation. The same way we brag about our athletes when they run on the world stage. And we scream our heads off when we see recognition. Okay? That's who we are as a people. So all the diaspora celebrates with you the recognition that has been bestowed on the JAHJAH Foundation through the person of Dr. Trevor Dixon. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication. And I'm looking forward to greater things coming from the JAHJAH Foundation. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to show some acknowledgement, as you mentioned, these different media outlets. Some of them we've lost, and some of them have been somewhat sized down. But I want to give a special shout out to Erwin Clear and his program, Fact of the Matter, that carried me for so many years, and that our champion Ross Clement,
Groovin
Radio,
yes,
who, when I have an event, you know, I'm very apprehensive of calling some of these radio stations because, you know, they're programming and they're commercials and they don't have no time for me, they don't have no space for me. Ross Clem called me up and Ross Clem says, Doc, yeah, but fundraiser come up, what happened? Give me the ad, let me run the ad.
Yes.
He brings me on. So big up to Ross Clem. Just know that his work doesn't go unnoticed by the JAHJAH Foundation and by so many more other organizations in the New York and tri-state area. Big up Ross Clem and big up Erwin Clay, because these guys have brought me on board. And I can't forget my friend, Dervan Malcolm out of Jamaica Power 106.
Who's
our champion, and we hope to get him back soon.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you. Trevor squared.
Okay.